One Piece isn't just a good anime. It's a very particular viewing experience. Unlike many of its contemporaries, the secrets of the lives of the characters aren't given to you all at once. They're provided to the audience in very much a piecemeal fashion. It may take multiple full arcs to reveal one character's full backstory, like Robin, that started in Alabasta and wasn't completed until Enies Lobby. Or Momonosuke, a side character whose full backstory and arc began in Punk Hazard, but wasn't fleshed out until hundreds of episodes later in Wano. This makes the context of early episodes very different in light of the latter ones. This phenomenon holds particular significance with Sanji, and the man that became his surrogate father, Chef Zeff. Sanji was working as a cook on the ship that was attacked by the Red Leg pirates, captained by Red Leg Zeff. Both ships were caught in a terrible storm during the siege that marooned both Sanji and Zeff after Zeff saved him from drowning. The sacrifice of Zeff, severing his own leg to save Sanji, followed by taking him in and allowing him to become a chef under him, nurturing his growth. All of this is enough to warrant the emotional scenes that we saw of Sanji in the earlier chapters of One Piece.
いい子。
いいのか、挨拶。
いいんだ。
サンジ、風邪ひくなよ。オーナーぜー！長い間クソお世話になりました。このご恩は一生忘れません。
But this wasn't the full story. Revealed far later in the series during the Whole Cake Island arc, the audience learns that Sanji was an exiled prince. A prince designed in a lab and born to be the perfect weapon. Sanji and his siblings were supposed to be the perfect, ruthless specimens. Yet Sanji was a runt. He didn't develop the insane strength and durability that his siblings acquired at birth until he was an adult, and as a result, he was beaten and brutalized by his so-called family. The ones who were supposed to protect him mocked and bullied him for his kind heart. They tortured and abused him for being weaker and less cruel than them, to the point that Sanji wasn't sure he'd survive. It was only his late mother who gave him love, and his sister was the only person after their mother's passing to show him the smallest amount of kindness. In light of this, what Zeff did for Sanji as a father, what he provided to him, was far greater than what we knew during their arc. Zeff became that proverbial surrogate father that is often seen throughout literature, who isn't perfect but chooses to take in a young ward to raise them up in the absence of their actual parents. Mr. Miyagi, Alfred, Master Splinter are all examples of this character, but they exist because there is a real-life component to them. There are many a fatherless child, or even man, from time to time in this world, and the meaning that surrogate fathers have, the value that they provide real people in life is great. When one is in need of that surrogate father, you latch on to any male presence whether it's deserving of your attention or not. You value the time that they give you as priceless, and every encouraging word, every hint that they give you to help you make sense of your world is like a sacred treasure. So for Sanji, Zeff was the first man that he ever really trusted. Every other man in his life, every male presence that Sanji had was abusive to him. Their only aim was to break him down. Zeff was someone that literally saved his life and then taught him the best ways to grow. He gave him a master skill in cooking and walked with him every step of the way. Men like Zeff are hard to find. Men who will commit themselves to someone who needs it at their own expense. We don't know much about his past other than he was a pirate. We also don't know if he was a good pirate or a bad one before he met Sanji. All we know is what he became: a teacher, a protector, someone who'll sacrifice himself for someone important. He became a father. So with that in mind, as you watch Sanji's journey, his first arc, his story with Chef Zeff, recalling that he only had a few words to say to Zeff to express his gratitude, his tough exterior to save face before his crew of the toughest chefs on the sea, and his soon-to-be crew. Remember all that Sanji's been through, and the space that Zeff filled in his life when he met him, to be the first man he ever truly trusted or loved. And know that tears are the most sincere form of emotion, and Sanji's most sincere thanks.